Yeah, good evening, guys. Yesterday we discussed about adding objects to database, and we discussed about ORM. Yep. Yesterday we discussed about ORM, right? Object relational mapping, what it will do, why we are using ORM. We discussed this and how to enter data to the database by this command, user data dot objects dot create, and fetching rows from your database from like this user data dot objects dot all. Today we will discuss about updating. For suppose if you observe here we have all list of users. Now I want to update this user information. Then I have to delete this user information. Then we will be done with CRUD operations. Then we can go for another static templates concepts. Generally, create we will do we will pass directly data whatever the data is required, like username, email, phone number. Or suppose if I didn't pass phone number, what will happen? Now we will check for that. Okay, I'll start my server. Python manage.py run server. I got my form here. Now I am giving username Sai123. I didn't give email, and I'm giving phone number here. Address. Now I'm trying to submit this. It won't accept. Why? Because For us, we need phone number compulsory. That defaultly we enable that phone number. You have to pass phone number mandatory. These all things: address, email, and username. Whatever the columns we created, for those columns we have to pass complete details. Without those details, we can't create a row in our database. And now we will go for fetching a single object and updating that one. My main intention is to teach update thing. But because create we did, user dot object dot create we did, user dot objects dot all we done with that. Now I want to update existing one. For that, I'm creating one new view here. Def user update view request. With request, I will pass PK as well. PK means primary key. You can call it as ID or PK, whatever you want. Just I'm passing one argument, PK. That should be a primary key of user object. In our database, we have rows and columns, right? Every row will have one primary key thing. We have to pass that primary key. If you observe your users data, now I'm going for user data object one. If you see here in URL, one number is here, right? This is representing row one. If I give row three here, we can see third row data here. Prasad, if I give sixth number here, sorry, not there. Now I'm clicking on user data fourth object. We are getting in URL, we are getting this four number here. There is a primary key. Based on this primary key, we will get data to this form. Don't worry, I will see. I will explain those things how it will work. Now I am giving 6 here. That means I'm telling Django to fetch sixth ID wherever its ID matching to 6. Fetch that row. Just I will enter. We are getting last user from our table, sixth ID. We don't we have rows till ID 6 only. We don't have 7, 8, 9. Now I'm going to I'm calling ninth one, but in my database there is no ninth row. We have only 6 users, so we have only 6 rows. But I am giving 9. What will happen? User data with ID 9 does not exist. Here it was deleted. It's telling there is no row with the ID 9. If you observe here, this is the object 5. This object 5 primary key is number 5. So based on this number, we will do this update process. I'll show how to create this. User data dot objects dot get where ID equal to PK. Inside this PK, we will get that object ID where is primary key. We will get that primary key. Here we will pass user. Return response. In same way, how we deal with the template here, return render. Okay, sorry, return render. Response is in we will use in API. Return render. We have to pass this request object. After that template. For template, we have to create new template. For updating user information, we have to create new template. Creating update user.html. I'll pass a dictionary, user dictionary to the template. I'll use this user dictionary in my template to display the user information. Yeah, I defined my view where previous views are previous views are different from this view. If you observe here, this view is taking only request argument, but here we are passing request and we are accepting request and the primary key as a argument. But how we will get this primary key, that is a different story. We will define that thing in a URL. Let me create that URL for this. I'm creating URL for updating user. Update user. I will import that view here. User update view. Yeah. Just 1 minute. We'll discuss. I will show that how to add that URL, custom URL for accepting primary key in URL. Previous URLs we kept only a string here, hello world or user like this. But accepting a primary key in URL, you have to do some custom configuration here. P and PK. This is a PK where I am passing my argument in PK. This means this part from here to here. This is a regex concept. If you are interested more to know about this, you should know regex first. This works based on regex thing only. This means I'm telling in between these two slashes some number will come. I'm telling that in a regex language. The regex is a powerful tool for parsing and identifying string operations. Why I am doing this means I want update user. After that user ID, I have to pass user ID here. That's why I'm keeping this thing question mark p less than pk greater than slash d plus like this. I'm keeping this regex code here. Then my URL will look like update user slash one, update user slash two, update user slash three. Inside this, whatever the number you will pass, that number will be hand over to your view in PK argument. Just see how this is working. Update user one, update slash user. No, it's not matching with our. You actually have to pass URL like this. Update user after that slash one, but it's not accepting. This means my regex code is not working. We have to look into that why it is not working. Slash question mark. I missed dollar symbol here. Maybe that is the reason. No, even I'm passing this slash. No, it's not working. Some small thing we have to add here in urls.py that is missing. Just we will search for that. This is not. Let me try this one. We got some answers from Stack Overflow. Yeah, this time I didn't get any error. If you observe here, whenever this view executed, I am printing PK, then it should print whatever the number I will pass here, that should print number here. Yeah, it's printing 1 and 1 here. Now I will pass some random numbers. I'll see it's working or not. Just a minute. Now I'll pass some numbers here. Then that number should print here. Yeah, it's printing 2. Now I'll pass 3 here. Then we will get that 3 number in our views like this from URL. Whatever the number user is passing, we will take this number. Based on that, we will fetch that information from our database. Okay. Here I'm getting that row ID from user. Now I'm fetching that information by using this command user data dot objects dot get id equal to pk. Now I want to pass this user information, right? Just I created template, but I didn't handle anything here. Update user HTML. Just 1 minute. I'm changing this to Django template. Yeah, it's coming. We are getting data from database. User dot username. Yeah. Now I'm expecting user 3 from database. So I got user 3 ID and user 3 username. Now I will pass here user 6. Whatever the number you will pass here, we will get that information from database. This is the getting data from our database. Now for update call, we have to show him a form. Inside that form, we will be having data. So how means just a minute, I will show that. This is a creation form where user will enter a new data. But for update, already data should be user will get form like this already filled with data. He can update whatever the field he want to update. Then he will submit that data to the server again. We have to implement that one. For that reason, I think you got it right. Why what I am telling. For initial user, whenever you are creating a new object, user will enter this data completely from beginning. But for update call, user already this data user will get from database. For suppose address I given, I missed E here. I given just only Bangalore. I have to update only E here. I don't add again all these fields. Just I will put E here and I will submit. That is called updating thing. For that reason, we have to give form with data, and we have to give one submit button here. Then user will update his information and he will send the data to the server again. So for that reason, what I am doing, I'll create a form. user data form. One minute. Yeah. Here we got all information to this user variable from database. Whenever we call to database, user data dot object dot get means we are fetching this fifth row or sixth row, whatever the number we got from user, we will fetch that information from database. Now we have to create one dictionary, user data. Inside this dictionary, we will keep all user information, username. Why we are doing this means, just wait for some time. I will explain why we are doing this. User dot username, phone number, user dot phone number, I created one dictionary, user data. Inside this, I kept username, phone number, email address. I have filled this data with appropriate column names. Now, I taken this user data form, and then one minute. Yeah, tell me, Nani, tell me. If you can speak, that will be good. అంటే ఉంటాయి. అంటే రియల్ టైమ్‌లో అంటే ఫస్ట్ మనకు బేసిక్ కాబట్టి మనం డేటాబేస్‌లో డేటా ఎలా అప్డేట్ చేయాలి, ఎలా డిలీట్ చేయాలి అనేది చెప్తున్నాను. బట్ బేసిక్‌గా అయితే మనం ఫస్ట్ యూజర్ లాగిన్, లాగౌట్ అవన్నీ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తాము. యూజర్‌ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేయాలి. యూజర్‌ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేసిన తర్వాత యూజర్ సెక్షన్‌లో ఇవన్నీ వస్తాయి. ఫస్ట్ ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నామంటే బేసిక్ అంటే విడివిడిగా చేస్తున్నాము. ఫార్మ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయడము, డేటాబేస్ క్రియేట్ చేయడము, డేటా ఫెచ్ చేయడము, డేటా సేవ్ చేయడము. అంటే మీకు ఎగ్జాక్ట్‌గా ఎక్కడ డౌట్ ఉంది? రియల్ టైమ్‌గా ఇట్లానే చేస్తారా అని? ఏ ఫీల్డ్‌లో అంటే అప్డేట్, డిలీట్ చేసేటప్పుడా? లేకపోతే క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడా?
హలో.
నాని చెప్పండి.
హలో. సార్ అంటే మామూలుగా ఇంతకుముందు నేను .NET చేస్తే ఇలానే చేసేవాడిని. సో అక్కడ ఏంటంటే డేటాబేస్ డైరెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి దాని తర్వాత అప్డేట్ ఇలా చేస్తాం మామూలు SQL క్వరీ రాసి దాని నుండి.
ఓకే.
అంటే ఇక్కడేమో మీరు అదే అక్కడ నిన్న చెప్పారు కదా యూజర్ డేటా అది ఓకే కరెక్టే. అక్కడ SQL క్వరీ అంటే SQL లో మామూలుగా SQL లైట్ అని చెప్పేసి అది.
ఓకే.
అంటే ఇలానే జాంగో ఇంతేనా అనేసి.
జాంగో అంటే ORM పార్ట్, డేటాబేస్ పార్ట్ ఇంతే ఉంటదండి. చేంజెస్ ఏమి ఉండవు. మీరు కంప్లీట్ గా SQL క్యూరీ అయితే ఎక్కడ రాయరు. మీరు ORM యూజ్ చేస్తారు. ఎందుకంటే మీకు బెనిఫిట్స్ చాలా ఉంటాయి ORM యూజ్ చేయడం వల్ల. మీరు బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ ఏదైనా యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. మీరు MySQL నుంచి Postgres కి జంప్ అవ్వచ్చు, Oracle కి జంప్ అవ్వచ్చు. అండ్ ఇంకా అది మీ ఇష్టం, అది ఎట్లైనా వాడుకోవచ్చు. ORM లో మాత్రం మీరు అంటే మీ ప్రాజెక్ట్ లెవెల్లో ఒక లైన్ క్యూరీ కూడా చేంజ్ చేయరు. మీరు బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ ఎట్లయినా చేంజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, అది వర్క్ అవుతుంది.
యాక్చువల్గా మీరు నిన్న అదే మామూలు ఓఆర్ఎం టూల్స్ చెప్పారు కదా, ఆబ్జెక్ట్ రిలేషనల్ మ్యాపింగ్ మామూలుగా. అదే డాట్ లో అయితే మామూలుగా డివి ఫస్ట్ అప్రోచ్, మోడల్ ఫస్ట్ అప్రోచ్, కోడ్ ఫస్ట్ అప్రోచ్ అని చెప్పేసి 3 టైప్స్ ఉండేది.
ఓకే.
సో అందుకని చెప్పేసి అంటే అక్కడెక్కడ కొంచెం మోడిఫికేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. సో అందుకని చెప్పేసి
ఓకే ఓకే ఓకే. ఇక్కడైతే అంటే ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఇప్పుడు సపోజ్ ఏదన్నా కస్టమ్ క్యూరీ మీరు ఫెచ్ చేయాలి, ఆ డేటా మీరు మల్టిపుల్ టేబుల్స్ నుంచి తీసుకురావాలి. అది ఓఆర్ఎం లో అట్లాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్లో ఏమవుతుందంటే టైం డీలే ఎక్కువ పడుతుంటది. అంటే జనరల్ గా ఎస్క్యూఎల్ అయితే 50 మిల్లీ సెకండ్స్ లో వచ్చేది, ఓఆర్ఎం 100 మిల్లీ సెకండ్స్ పడుతుంది. అట్లాంటి టైంలో మీరు రా ఎస్క్యూఎల్ యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. రా ఎస్క్యూఎల్ యూజ్ చేసుకోవడానికి మనకి జాంగోలో ఆప్షన్ ఉంది, కానీ అది రేర్ కేసెస్ లో రాస్తారు రా ఎస్క్యూఎల్.
మీకు ఎలా ఉంది అంటే నేను మొత్తం డేటాబేస్ కూడా మీరే హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలి లేకపోతే మామూలుగా
డేటాబేస్ మేమే హ్యాండిల్ చేయాలి. బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ ఇంజనీర్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో వాళ్ళే డిజైన్ చేస్తారు. అంటే ఎవరైనా సీనియర్ ఉంటే వాళ్ళు డిజైన్ చేస్తుండొచ్చు మేబీ, బట్ క్యూరీస్ రాయడం అయితే మనమే రాయాలి, బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ ఇంజనీరే రాయాలి. క్యూరీస్ రాయడము, వీటిని టెంప్లెట్ లో ఇంటిగ్రేట్ చేయడము. అంటే ఈ టెంప్లెట్ లో చూసాం కదా నేను, యూజర్ డేటా పెట్టడానికి జస్ట్ ఒక ఫర్ లూప్ రన్ చేస్తాం, దాంట్లో ఒక లిస్ట్ ఇచ్చేసి ఫర్ లూప్ రన్ చేస్తాం, మొత్తం డేటా వచ్చేస్తుంది అక్కడే.
అవును,
అంటే మొత్తం ఇంకెక్కడైనా ఇదే ప్రాసెస్ ఉంటుంది జాంగోలో. మీరు కావాలంటే ఇక్కడ గిటప్ లో చిన్న చిన్న ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, ఓపెన్ సోర్స్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ అవి.
అవునవును,
వాళ్ళ సోర్స్ కోడ్ అప్పుడప్పుడు చూస్తూ ఉండండి, మీకు కొంచెం ఐడియా వస్తూ ఉంటుంది గిటప్ ఫాలో అవుతే.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్స్.
Here in PK, I got row number or primary key. I'm calling to database here to fetch that information. Inside user, we have all information related to particular row or particular object. We are preparing JSON here. This JSON, we will use this JSON in template to fill that form. If I say no, you may get confusion. I will show that why I am creating this JSON dictionary and why I am passing. If you observe here, while I'm taking data, I created user data form. I'm not passing any arguments here, but if you observe here, I'm passing one keyword argument, initial equal to this dictionary. I'm going to fill this data inside this form and I will display to the user. So don't worry, you will get to know once if you see that. Username is missing. Remaining all we got. If you observe here in email, I got nani@gmail.com and phone number Vijayawada. But suppose here instead of Vijayawada, I have to give Vizag. Then I will update this field only. I don't touch this phone number, email. Then I will enter I will click on submit button. In this way, we will do update thing. Why this username is not coming? We will see that in views username. In forms.py, we have to verify that. Yeah, here user underscore name I given. Here I have to change it to user underscore name. But in my model where I was calling to database, there I given username, no underscore. This is a mismatch. We have to follow same thing in complete project. If you are following username, then you have to take in forms as well username, and you have to take everywhere you have to use same format only. You can't do like this. So I'll change this to user. Okay, I don't change. If I change again, it will make problem. Let it be like that. I'll see. Yeah, this time I got all information. I think now you got idea of what I'm doing here. Here I'm taking that number, whatever the number we are getting from URL, and we are calling to database. We are retrieving that information, and we are preparing one dictionary here. Why we are preparing this dictionary? To fill this form in a template. To fill this form, we are creating a dictionary. We are passing that dictionary to the user data form class, and we are sending that form to the front-end template. Inside template, just I'm rendering this form here. So it's displaying like that. I'll keep form as a P here. Now I'll keep one submit button here. Input type equal to submit. Oh. Yeah, we got submit button here. But if you change something here and you're trying to submit here, but it won't update. Why? Because we're not handling post method here. Whenever you got user update view, if you observe here, I'll print request dot method here. Print request dot method. Sorry. Let me clear this. We got user information here. I'll give ID 4 here. What will happen? We'll see. See, automatically data is coming from database and it's inserted into a form and it displayed to the user like this. This automation process like injecting data to the template. I'll give 5 here like that. Now, if you see here, these all are get methods. Get method, get method, get method. Why? Because we are fetching this data from database. That's why this is a get method. If you want to update this data, then that should be done in a put method or post method. Generally, this should be a put method. Here we have to divide this view, user update view, into two sections. One is for fetching data from database and one is for taking data from user and storing that data in a database. How we did here, while creating in first section, if request dot method equal to get, then we will give empty form to the user. User will fill that form and he will send data to the server in a post method. In same way, we have to keep this inside a get method. Let me remove this. If request dot method if request dot method is get, we will display form with already filled data. If request dot method equal to put, then we have to update this data. Simple. We will use if else conditions here. If request dot method equal to put, then you have to collect information from user and you have to update that information. We will see that. I think this meeting will end in maybe 5 to 6 minutes. I'll create a new link maybe in 2 minutes. We can rejoin. You're getting this point right? Why I'm making this as a put method? If requested dot method equal to put, and why I am creating this if block? We have to update this thing here. User file information is something. Phone number is not actual one. Something wrong information is given. He want to update that phone number, so he will enter this user information. He don't change username, email, and address. Just he will change his phone number, and he will click on submit. Then we have to collect this information, and we have to replace fifth user file information with the new information. Previously in our database we were having old phone number. Now he is updating new phone number. We will do that now. Input method. Or we will take post method only here. Post. Directly I can copy paste this code here. Where fetching data from form. But I cannot use this code. Why? Because that is creating a new object. Now instead of that, what I will do, in post method also I will get this pk information. I will use this pk primary key thing, and I will update whatever the number we get there. We will update that thing. First of all, I have to fetch that user equal to user data dot objects dot get, where id equal to pk, and then user dot username equal to this username value. You can easily assign like this. User dot username. User is a object of user data class. This class having 4 class variables, right? We are updating those 4 class variable information. Why? Because actually user changed only phone number, but as a backend developer, you don't know what user changed. Maybe username, phone number, email. He may change everything. We don't know that. Whatever the information is coming from front end, we will store that information in database directly. In same way, user dot email equal to email value. User dot phone number. After assigning these 4 variables to the user object, we have to call one method here, user dot save. Then only this data will be saved to database. In this line, simply you are assigning new value to this object, user dot username. Inside this user object, you have username class variable. For that variable, you are assigning a new username value, but you are not storing that information in database. Just programmatically, you are assigning that data to this object in this line. In this line also same, you are assigning email data to the email variable in user object, where you have to call user dot save method. Then only that data will be stored to the database. Whenever you call this user dot save method, then call is going to database with this all updated values. If you didn't call this user dot save, then it won't change in a data. It won't store in a database. simply in programmatically you are assigning value to the object, but you are not saving in database. So after this, if this user data is updated, then we are redirecting him to a home page. For that I kept here slash. We will see this this is working or not. Before that we have to change something in template here. Update user data. Yeah, we have to mention method here. Method equal to post. This is mandatory. Whenever you are dealing with HTML, you have to add these things. You have to create one form tag, open tag, and close tag. Inside this, you will render your form. You will keep your submit button. You will mention method. We have to mention action as well. Empty action. No need anything more than that. After that, we have to give CSRF token. We will discuss this CSRF token soon. Don't worry as of now.